Hello everyone and welcome to today's webinar, Gaining Insights from Data with Tableau and Google Cloud Platform. My name's Soila and I'm part of the team here at Tableau in the London office. Before we kick things off, I'd like to just go through a couple of housekeeping items. If you have any questions to our presenters today, please send them our way through the Q&A box at the bottom of the WebEx screen. We'll have some time at the end of the presentation to get you some answers. And please also do the same if you have any technical issues. Please note you will be in listen-only mode for the duration of the whole session. Now on to our first speaker. Carl Usher is Head of Technology Partnerships at Google. His role involves building out the EMEA ecosystem of technology partners for the Google Cloud Platform. Over to you, Carl.
Thank you, Soila. Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar. Today, we want to share with you a real Google and Tableau customer story from our customer, Vonti Exclusive. We're going to take a look at how they've been able to take advantage of big data using tools that make the complex simple with a focus on a simple and engaging user experience. So as said, my name is Carl Usher and I look after our technology partners for Google in EMEA. And I'm joined here today with Alex Osterlo, also from Google, who is our solution engineer for big data. And most importantly, we have Wouter Coopers, the PM at Vonti Exclusive, who will be sharing more about his business and how they are using Tableau and Google Cloud Platform to unlock their big data and make better data-driven decisions about their business. So in terms of agenda, I would like to open up and briefly lay the foundations to give you some context around Google Cloud Platform, what it is and how it's being used today. Then I'll pass over to Wouter, who will share with us more about his business. Then Alex will bring this to life with a real demo based on sample data. And then we're going to wrap up with a call to action and invite you to try out the technology and also ask us some questions. So with that, let's get started. So hopefully some of you have used google.com or some of the Google products. Now behind the scenes, there is immense complexity. And this is hidden behind a simple user experience. And we're going to take a look at some of this complexity powering Google in a few moments. Really, the theme throughout this presentation is how we can harness the complex but make it simple and easy to use. And this underpins both Google Cloud Platform and Tableau. In the case of Tableau, the user no longer needs to be a SQL expert or a business intelligence expert in order to create powerful dashboards and interrogate the data. And in terms of Google Cloud Platform, we are taking huge complexity around managing mass amounts of data and making it very easy and simple to leverage. So what do we mean when we say complexity and scale at Google? Well, here are some Google products and associated numbers that really demonstrate this scale. Google builds products not only for a few thousands of users, but rather billions of users. And in order to support those billions of users and ensure a consistent experience, whether a user is in Algeria or America, we have had to develop not only unique data centers, but also unique software components and paradigms. So this timeline really illustrates some of the computing paradigms developed here at Google and later made available to the open source community. So the successors of these have gone on to be Apache products that you may already be familiar with. And you can see them beneath on the horizontal axis. Let's take an example. So in order to store the index of the web and its billions of web pages on commodity hardware, Google had to build GFS, Google File System, the predecessor to HDFS. Today, we store this index in 9 locations globally for redundancy. In order to process, transform, and analyze big data sets across commodity machines, Google developed MapReduce, which was the precursor to Hadoop, which you may have heard of. Also, the big table paper released by Google engineers described a blueprint for NoSQL data stores like Apache, Cassandra, and so on. So really, the key message here is we've continued to evolve these technologies and now are externalizing them as products to everyone. And in addition to developing these new computing components and concepts, In order to support these vast data analytics, we've had to also invest in redefining hardware components, such as redesigning and deploying routers and switches, or even replacing screws with Velcro and racks of computers to facilitate rapid replacement of faulty parts. Google has even laid a transocean cable to connect their global data centers in order to reduce latency. So over the past 16 years, we've learned a number of different things, and we've overcome a number of different challenges. And what we want to do is take these huge investments that we've made and make them available to you, hiding all of the complexity and making it very simple and easy to use. So now you can take advantage of building your applications and managing your data on top of the same infrastructure that powers Google, no matter how big or small your organization is. And today we've got a number of different businesses doing just that. They're using Google Cloud Platform together with Tableau to power their big data solutions. We see everything from analyzing internal transaction data to understand how to increase product sales and operational efficiencies. Some customers are using Google Cloud Platform to analyze social data in real time in order to understand customer demands and how to take advantage of some of these trends in the market. Other customers are fusing internal data with third-party data to understand correlations and trends that they can capitalize on in order to improve the business. We even see Internet of Things applications where customers are capturing sensor and device data to better understand their customers' behaviors. So all these applications are powered by Google Cloud Platform and accessed using the simplicity of Tableau. And here to tell us more about one of these use cases, we have Wouter Coopers, Product Manager at Vonte Exclusive. So over to you, Wouter.
Thank you, Carol, and thank you to Tableau and Google in general to give us this opportunity to present our company and the way that we use these great new technologies to improve that how we collect the data, process it, and analyze it in our company. Now, to set the scene a bit, I would like to explain exactly how our business works, because we have quite a particular business model. So we're in a flash sales business. What does that mean? It means that we are not a regular e-commerce retailer with a big warehouse full of goods. No, we reserve stock at suppliers. This
Hey, Wouter, sorry, real quick. Let me jump in because you need to share your screen. I'm not seeing it.
You're not seeing it. Wait.
Just in case somebody else.
Okay, so apologies for that.
Super, thanks.
Can everybody see my screen now?
It looks good.
Okay, thank you. Well, good. We've seen this slide. Let's go back to where I was. So as I explained, we reserve stock at the suppliers, which means that we come up with deals with them to sell some of their goods at a heavily reduced price on our website. And they then send us samples, so we get all these products, and we prepare them for selling. So we take pictures, we describe them, and we put them online. Next, you get to buy them from our multi-channel environments through our apps, our websites, and so on. And when the sale has finished, we make one order to the supplier, they ship everything to us, and we then do all the logistics of sending the different packages to our customers. This has a couple of strong advantages. First of all, there's very little stock to keep, so we don't have that high costs. Next, we have something new to sell pretty much every day, so this is nice for our customers, and it's low price. And lastly, everyone is authenticated in our business model. If you ever used one of those flash websites, you know this, and this means that we can track every customer's behavior in full detail. There's also some disadvantages to the model. First of all, there's very long delivery times. It takes us about 2 weeks to get the product to you, so we can't do same-day delivery or next-day delivery or 2 to 3 day delivery. It also takes quite a while before we can activate a customer because we do various kinds of deals every day, but if you visit us for the first time, the probability is pretty low that we have something on sale that you will like. So we need to inform everyone every day of what we have on sale. And this, of course, creates quite some communication pressure. So indeed, we send quite a lot of emails to our customers. Now, in this business, we are a local champion. By far, the largest in the world is venteprivé.com from France. They have over 1.3 billion euros in revenue so far. If there's anyone from the US audience listening in, you may know Guild in the United States. Vente Exclusief is only known in Belgium, the Netherlands, and Luxembourg, where we are the market leader. But so comparing us to parties like Amazon or Zalando, they have big warehouses and they have a demand-driven inflow of their audience. So people just come and look for, let's say, a pair of jeans, they find it and they buy it and they ship it immediately. We, on the other hand, are driven by our supply, by what we have on sale on a specific day. And this has quite some effect on our data. And you can see that here, our charts fluctuate every day, and it's correlated with the brands that we have on sale. And this makes analyzing data at Vente Exclusief quite a challenge. Now, let me go quickly over how our full supply chain works so that you get an idea of what we do as a company. So first of all, we have our sourcing department who talks to over 1,000 brands and creates deals with these brands. We do about 3 to 6 new sales each day. Our colleagues from the pre-sales department then get boxes in with, let's say, clothes or pieces of furniture. And since our clients usually do not have any detailed product descriptions nor any images of their products, we make those. So we take thousands of pictures, we touch them up, we write the descriptions in multiple languages, and we do that 3 to 6 times a day. So it's like building a couple of web shops every day and breaking them down a few days later. Because this is such a heavy task, we try to automate it as much as possible. So all our Photoshop filtering is automated, and even some of the description texts are auto-translated between languages. Next, it's the responsibility of our marketing department to bring all of our customers to these sales. So they communicate a lot. We send about 2 million emails per day to the Benelux market. So these guys are both heavy consumers of the data that we have, but also heavy producers of the data, because everything that they do, all their AdWords, advertisements, all their emails, they generate data. This brings people to the site. This also generates data. And afterwards, this department has to sift through this data and analyze it to see how our customers behaved and how the sales performed. When the clients are on our websites, on our apps, they get in our multi-channel environment where we try to get the same experience everywhere. So whether you're using the site or a tablet, doesn't matter. You can see all the products in full detail and decide to buy them. And if we have them, we ship them to you, of course. This is what our logistics department does. And that's obviously a lot more than just shipping one box. We combine multiple shipments. We also use all of our data to optimize the amount of people that we have working in our warehouses and so on. So our full supply chain from the beginning until the end generates data. It generates billions of data points. To give you just 2 examples, our detailed email tracking since a few years has generated over 1.5 billion data points. And our current event tracking system, which tracks the consumers when they're active on our website, which products they click, which sales that they look at, this has generated since 2009 about 2 billion events. But since we are working with various big data tools, we have increased the granularity of our events, and we're looking at doubling this 2 billion events in just 2015. So we have a big volume of data. That's one of the 4 typical problems that you have in big data, but there's 3 more. Another one is variety. It's not just very well structured data in database tables anymore. It's also natural text processing, image processing, and so on. So your data has much more different varieties in form, and this is not easy to deal with. Next is velocity. Increasingly, our managers, the business, want to have their analysis sooner, even real time, and this is quite a challenge. And lastly, veracity. If you're working with data, you need to make sure that your data is correct. So you need to test and test and test. You need to test the way you collect your data, the way you process your data, and certainly also the way you analyze your data. So how are we going to overcome all of these problems? More on that later. However, one of the most important in our case is data availability. We don't just want that the data is open to a couple of guys at IT or a business analyst. We want our data to be used by everyone inside the company. Every employee should have the possibility of tracking their own performance or the performance of their projects. This is something that we truly believe in and what we are trying to achieve. Another thing that we try to achieve is relevance. First, in the beginning, when you start your business, in our case back in 2007, you don't have many tools, you don't have much data, you have some vague statistics about your business. Then you start having more data, and you collect it in such a way that you have properties from all your customers and you can try to segment them. But if you ever want to get to the level of, let's say, a YouTube, where you watch a video and next to the video that you're watching, there's already a few other videos that you can watch presented to you by YouTube based on your previous behavior. If you ever want to do that, you need to start tracking on an individual level. You need to track every customer's personal behavior on your website. So by tracking this behavior, you can start predicting it, and this leads to the end goal being relevance, saying what kind of product he would like to buy, what kind of video he would like to see. So this is also one of the ultimate goals that we want to achieve at Vente Exclusive. Now, how do we do this? When we were at the drawing board 2 years ago, we looked at a couple of different platforms, but one of the first that we looked at was Google Cloud Platform. We have a very good relationship with Google in Belgium. And they were quite enthusiastic about us working with it and cooperated with us on this. And we immediately became interested in the various components of the Google Cloud Platform that work very well together. I'm gonna stay brief about explaining the Google Cloud Platform because Alex is going to explain it a bit in more detail. So I'm going to briefly brush over it. The first one is cloud storage. This component we use to store all of our data. It's an unlimited data store. You can store whatever you want there, terabytes. We've got a couple of terabytes there. It's at a very low cost. It's very easy to manage and to get an idea of how much you're paying for this. And it's also extremely easy to access. You have easy access to your data, and well, you can easily put it in and you can easily get it out. What Google Cloud Storage also does is that it's the access point of your data to the other components that live within the Google Cloud Platform. For example, Compute Engine. Compute Engine are computers that you rent at Google where you can run your software on to, for example, process your data, like we do. We run Hadoop on top of Compute Engine to process our data from cloud storage without any servers to manage and very easy to provision. We only use them at night. We start them with a script, and 10 minutes later, the servers are there and available for performing our calculations. Then the real gem, at least to us in the Google Cloud Platform, is BigQuery. BigQuery is an analyst stream. It allows you to query huge, but really huge tables in no time. We've worked with tables that are billions of data points in size, and you query them, and in just a few seconds, you've got your answer. It's unbelievable. And typically Google also, it's very easy to use. If you know the basic SQL query language, you can get right started with it. Alex will demonstrate BigQuery later on in this presentation. And then lastly, there's Cloud Platform, Cloud Data Flow. Cloud Data Flow is a new component of the Google Cloud Platform, which allows you to program data pipelines, which constantly process inflowing data from cloud storage and bring it to BigQuery in a sort of real-time streaming fashion. It is our goal later on to replace what we do on Hadoop with Cloud Data Flow, but also more on that later by Alex. So we have the Google Cloud Platform, we have our own data, but how do we bring it all together? How do we create an architecture where all of these components play together? Now, we had a little help there from a company called Datatonic. They're a UK-based company, also active in Belgium. If you are in need of any assistance in getting your company to work with cloud-based big data tools or visualizations with Tableau, contact them. They are absolute specialists in this kind of stuff, and they were a great help in defining our final data processing architecture, as you can see it here. So all of our data sources push their data to cloud storage, we process it in Compute Engine, and then the final aggregated tables that we generate are put into BigQuery, ready for querying by an analyst. But there we had a problem. Yeah, how are we going to process the data from BigQuery and get the result into some kind of nice form for the business, into kind of a report or a chart? First, we wanted to do this with Excel, but that didn't really work very well. So there was this missing piece, and there Datatonic recommended us Tableau. And before I get to that, I will I will explain a bit how we worked in the past. So we were very Excel-based, and you know how this goes. You have the IT department, they manage the database, they know their way around, and they write queries for the business to get this kind of report or to get that kind of report. And these queries then get embedded into Excel, and they live somewhere in your company. But of course, IT constantly needs to change the database model, because if we add new features or remove features, the model changes. And then all these queries broke and people started complaining. Sometimes it was quite messy. So the maintenance is very hard of this setup. And also it can get quite slow. If you have data sets with over 2 billion rows in SQL, you can wait 2 hours before your query is done. So this was very cumbersome. And lastly, SQL is not that easy to learn. So to write very good and performant SQL queries is an art in itself, and people at the marketing department weren't always up to that. So as I said, Datatonic presented us Tableau as the missing link in this constellation, and it comes in different flavors. First of all, there's Tableau Desktop. This is the main application of Tableau, and it's an extremely powerful visualization tool. A business analyst will love it. Why? Because it allows you to connect to various different kinds of data sources, including Excel files, text files, SQL databases, but also BigQuery, and to not write any queries, in fact. You just define what kind of data points you want to use, how you want to aggregate them, and with just a few simple clicks, you can create compelling visualizations and analysis in no time. Alex will do a quick demonstration about this, and you will be amazed. There is also a server version of Tableau, which runs on a web server, which allows you to collaborate. Because, the data analyst, for example, can create a nice dashboard, publish it on Tableau server, and other people in the company can then just use their browser to go to it and look at this analysis, and even edit it and change it in their own ways. All the new data that is generated comes into your SQL databases, comes into BigQuery, for example, and these dashboards automatically refresh with this new data. If you don't want to run this on your own premises, but would like to have it in the cloud just as all your other things, then you also have Tableau Online, which is the cloud-based version of Tableau Server. And lastly, there's Tableau Public. If you want to try Tableau today, I recommend you have a look at Tableau Public, because it allows you to use Tableau for free online, as long as you work with your own data and this data can be made public. So what I recommend you to do is to go to public.tableau.com and to have a look at the gallery of visualizations that have been made there. There is quite some nifty stuff there. People using open databases from the government and visualizing it in very nice ways. I often browse around in this public gallery to get inspiration on how I can visualize my own data. It's fantastic. So to wrap up, this is our new workflow. So we have people in our main departments, business analysts, working with Tableau Desktop and publishing their works to a centralized Tableau server. And all the people, all our all the people working in these departments can then just log into Tableau server and look at their own data through very nice dashboards. Tableau server in itself connects to our data on SQL, on BigQuery, and refreshes all of these analyses in real time. So no more IT department creating queries and sending them around and fixing them when they break. So to recap, Tableau and Google Cloud Platform really brought our company to the next level of data drivenness, but I'm sure this is not the end, because we now have cut away all the numbing work that we had to do all day to keep our Excel-based analysis up to date. This is now all automated within Tableau server, so we can start to focus on the really good and deep analysis that we wanted to do but never took the time for. Google Cloud Platform, on the other hand, is right now mostly used for pre-processing our data and then to analyze it using Tableau. But more and more, we will use it to gain deeper insights about our customers' behavior by using it for predictive modeling, for pattern detection, text analysis, auto-translation, and so on. So we're not at the end of this. Thank you all for listening, and I'm now going to pass over to Alex.
Great, thank you. Thanks, Wouter. Okay, so let me put this in presentation mode. So I'm here at Google as part of the Cloud Platform team, dealing with BigQuery and other big data tools. And I just want to, after we see from Wouter what you can actually do, I just wanted to give you a peek of what is actually possible. This is a demo where we have tons of click data from that demo data that Datatonic put together. It's actually 1.7 billion records that we have in there. And I'm going to first show you BigQuery, which is kind of empowering this and being able to do SQL-type queries against that data and get answers in very little time, which is probably not something you want to try in a spreadsheet or an Excel-type application, or even databases will probably have some trouble with this. So this is kind of the premise of the demo. So let me go to BigQuery first. So this is BigQuery. This is the very simplest web UI interface. There's.
Sorry, Alex. I think we're having trouble seeing your screen as well.
No, I forgot to do it. Okay.
No
One second. Better now?
That's it. Perfect. Thank you.
Super. So you haven't missed anything. So this is Google BigQuery, the web UI. There's other interfaces. There's command line tools. There's APIs, and of course Tableau has a standard integration into BigQuery. So it's very easy to set up. But just to show you a little bit of the power, I have a couple of queries prepared here. If I click here, compose query, I can query any of many data sets, my own data sets, or public data sets that are available. And there is, for example, to start really small, there's things like all the Shakespeare works. So if you wanted to know, what were the most common words used, then you can run this query fairly quickly. I'll go to something more sophisticated. So this is Wiki. So which are the articles, and this is a wiki database, and it has all metadata around which Wikipedia pages are out there, and all the metadata like the number of views, etc. for that. So this would be a query to find out the top 10 sites that have the most edits being done to them. So if I run this, and I'm going to take out here the cached results, which you're able to do, which is also saving costs. So anybody in the team repeating that query is actually not generating any cost. But just for the sake of doing this query, just so you see how long it takes, an answer in under 3 seconds, and it's about 9 gigabytes that was processed. So even if you have, so this is, I believe, around 300 million lines, but even if you had billions or trillions of rows, you can expect a similar type of latency on the results, which should be anything, even if you go into the billions, will most likely, depending on the complexity and the number of joins, be something between 10 and 30 seconds. So this is just one quick example. So let me go to one or two more, just so you see that queries can be quite more complex. Again, I'm showing you here SQL. I'm myself not a big SQL lover or expert, and actually with Tableau, like I will show you in a second, you don't really need to know it. But this is kind of how you could interface with it, and I just want to show you some of the performance that is actually being pushed through BigQuery. So here's a query finding all types, again, the Wikipedia data set, finding all types of articles, where in the title you have a G, in the middle 2 O's, and ends with an E. And we're taking out some other articles where there's maybe some special characters in there, etc. Again, I don't want to cheat and show cached results, so let me take that out and run this query. As you will see, this is a little more complex, just taking also a couple of more seconds. But here we just did a query over 4.4 terabytes, and we got results within 8 seconds. And some of the results are maybe Google, like you would expect, but also some interesting other ones. You can actually, from here, you could save this as a CV file, etc. But I will show you what you do with that data in Tableau in just a second. Just as a last query, I'm going to use the data set that was supplied by Datatonic, this 1.7 billion records on click data. So let me do a quick query on this as well. So all I'm doing here is doing a query around all the click data, and I'm sorting it by category and just seeing how many types of click data we have for certain items on the website. And here we see that most of them are clothing, kitchen, laundry, etc. Just to prove the point on how big is my data set, so if we just do a count star on this data set, you can actually see that we have 1.7 billion records in here. So this was just a quick run through BigQuery. It's all managed, right? So you don't have to manage any hardware, bare metal or virtual. It's actually analytics as a service. You could call it, where all we need is the data from you, not just from one data source, but of course from multiple data sources, and then you can do ad hoc queries, and it doesn't cost you much to store or analyze the data. So let me jump over to Tableau. So here I have a storyboard, and this is a new feature in Tableau. I think that was introduced in version 8.2, which also I think brought Mac support with us, which I'm very grateful, because we here at Google, besides our Chromebooks, we have a lot of Macs, so I like the support for that. But before we go through these dashboards, so this is a story where on the top you see kind of the story titles, and every one of these are made up of different worksheets or dashboards. And just to show you, if you know Tableau, this is nothing new to you, but if you've never seen Tableau, I just wanted to maybe quickly create a new worksheet. So here I have Tableau, which is already connected to my data. So here's the website analytics data coming from BigQuery. And what I can just do here is, just to show you, is again, everything I do here is on top of those 1.7 billion data points. So if I do a double click here, I see my number of records, And now I can do something simple. So I can take those records and I can see this by different dimensions. For example, by category. I can sort this. So now I see, I have the number of items in clothing, kitchen, etc. next to each other. And then there's tons of lots more that I can do if I just want to have this, visualized by color or choose any other type of visualizations to do this is also pretty easy to do. So I can actually go back to the one I had. So if I also wanted to maybe bring in event, now it would show me kind of the funnel, right, from all the way from sales views to product views to order to cards and to actual orders and all of this for every type of category within my product. So just a quick view on how easy it actually is to use Tableau. So now I want to go back to my story. I'll go into, they have something like presentation mode, so it kind of takes out everything, all the menus, and it's nicer to see, hopefully for you as well. So this is kind of what I want to go through. So we have on the top left side, obviously this is not, real data from Monte Google, it's demo data, but the idea is we'll take website analytics data, we push it into BigQuery, and we get real-time insight in the Tableau, on the Tableau side, and all the dashboards that were prepared and is shared within the team, within the organization, are automatically updated as soon as any data on BigQuery side changes. I also in the demo have another dashboard that looks at different data sets, in this case coming from Twitter, where it might be interesting to look at certain trends. Maybe if Monte has a choice of different flash sales that it is going to do in the future, then it might be interesting just to see what is the buzz, or to get some real time feedback from the social networks about any flash sets that are currently going on. So with this, let me go to my first worksheet, which is actually showing all the different categories of products that we have here in this view. Where on the horizontal line you see the sales views, and on the vertical you see the sales conversion in percent. And I want to concentrate for this story here. I just want to concentrate on clothing and shoes. So I filtered this down in my next view here. So two things that are very apparent is that, of course, we have a much higher sales views than on the shoes. On the other side, we also see that we're converting a little better, or much better, on the clothing side as compared to the shoes side. And now it might be interesting to analyze this and then see, what else has happened? Why is this? How does this correlate to any marketing campaigns? Because we just might have pushed clothing in the past campaigns in the last flash sales a lot more than we did with shoes. But if we treated both the same, maybe there's some other problems in the type of ad targeting that was done in the past. Maybe we need to choose better keywords to capture our audience and bring them to our website to have them look at the sale, see the sale, and then actually convert on that as well. So here is a new view that is made up of different worksheets here. So up on top we have the comparison directly on the conversion month by month for clothing and shoes. And on the bottom left, we can actually see how is the daily conversion on clothing and shoes different by each day. So you see the conversion changing over time. And if we actually go to the next one, we can filter down on maybe just looking at the month of July and seeing how this may be different to other months, and just try to figure out, why is it that after day 3 of the sale, the conversion suddenly took an increase on clothing, where we kind of lacking the same pickup, the same increase on the shoe size. And then it's probably interesting again to bring in more data to get a little more insight in what could be the impact of this. And then on the bottom right, I actually see the funnel all the way from sales views to product views to people putting clothing in their carts to actually placing orders. So going on to the social data that I was talking about before. So this is just plugging into another data set that is also updating as soon as new data, social data, tweets or Facebook data comes in, where I'm interested in certain interests in certain products. And if you use, for example, technology partners like DataSift, they're able to actually supply you this fire hose of social data filtered to what you are interested in, and they're actually able also to supply metadata and do sentiment analysis and kind of say what is the buzz in the community, also by region, by gender, by age, and then use that information to then set up future campaigns and future flash sales on the website. One big feature that is very helpful in this, because if you do a flash sale, you need information immediately, and if you have that information only days later, because that's maybe when your Hadoop job finished, it might be too late to do any price adjustment during a 5-day sale. So what BigQuery is actually able to do is you can ingest 100,000 records per second and into BigQuery, and the views on the Tableau side will automatically update and reflect that. That is pretty helpful, and this will lead me into the end of the demo, to my last dashboard, where I'm now focusing more on shoes. So actually I'm looking at different types of shoes here, runners versus sneakers versus trainers. And I can see the direct impact of any price changes that were done over those 5-day sales. I can actually see the impact of that in the number of orders, and of course then also indirectly in the conversion rate. And what I see up here for selected items that are part of my flash sales, I can see the same thing as an aggregate down on the bottom by type of shoe. And yeah, hopefully that gave you a little insight. Of course, these were prepared dashboards, but as Wucho mentioned before, Datatonic is a great partner, to help you kickstart this. There's a tons of good video tutorials on the Tableau site to get you started. The public free Tableau version is also a great place. And we have the similar offer on the free offer on some of the data sets that we have in BigQuery to get you started very quickly. So that was it on my side, and I'm just going back to find the presentation and then handing it over back to Carl.
Excellent. So thanks, Wouter, for a great real-life insights presentation. Really interesting. Great to see you use Tableau and Google Cloud Platform to really transform your business and how you analyze your data and make better decisions. And thank you, Alex, for a really compelling demo that really helped to bring it to life. And now really a call to action for the attendees. We'd like you to try out both Tableau and Google Cloud Platform for your business. And we're offering you $500 Google Cloud Platform credit that you can redeem straight away in order to start loading your data into Google Cloud Platform, or building some applications, or spinning up some machines. And also you can follow this link for a Tableau trial. So you can download Tableau for free and start using that today as well, and plugging that into your data in Google Cloud Platform. And just one other thing I'd like to mention on the next slide is we have Google Next coming up. So this is our annual global event where you have an opportunity to meet with Google executives and the Google team across Europe and the US, and meet some of our leading customers, some of our top partners, such as Tableau, who will be there. We've already kicked off New York, San Francisco, and Tokyo. Feedback has been great. We've had oversubscribed events. We've got 2 events next week in Europe. We've got London on the 23rd and Amsterdam on the 25th. Unfortunately, Amsterdam is fully booked right now, but we have made a live stream available. So if you can't make it in person, we hope to see you online. And with that, I'm going to hand over to Solia and open up for Q&A.
Fantastic. Thank you, Carl. And thanks also, Wouter and Alex. That was really, really fascinating. I hope everybody listening in today found it useful. We're going to move on to some Q&A now. So if you do have any questions for any of our presenters, please enter them in the Q&A box. And we'll try and answer as many of those as we can. I think to kick things off, I've got one for you, Alex, here. How do you actually integrate Tableau and BigQuery?
Yeah, I didn't show it. I didn't show it at the beginning. I just mentioned it briefly, but actually Tableau has an automatic interface or integration to many different types of data sources. So this could be a simple spreadsheet, Excel, any type of database, and of course many of the cloud providers, and Google BigQuery being one of them. So if you start if you start up Tableau, you click on connection, you see a selection for BigQuery. You just click on that. Then all you need to do is authenticate, and it will actually show you all the data sets that you saw when I showed you BigQuery. You will see all those data sets actually available to you, and then you just click on the data set you choose and go ahead and do queries against that data. So it takes if you start from scratch, it takes about 1 minute to set up if you know what to do.
Great, thank you.
And 2 if you've never done it before. Okay.
Sounds good. This might be another question for you, Alex. How does BigQuery deal with structured and unstructured data?
So Wouter already talked about data flow, which would be a good way to take unstructured data and make a structured version out of it. So the output of data flow could actually, if you have unstructured data like tweets, for example, you can actually take that data and do something with it, enrich it, filter it, and then put it in BigQuery. But in BigQuery, of course, because it's structured, you need a schema and you need a certain structure of your data set to do that. So BigQuery needs structure. If you don't have that structure because you have some dirty unstructured data, you can use other means like Dataflow or Hadoop to actually clean up the data and then make it available in BigQuery.
Great, thank you. A few more questions from our attendees. Do you use BigQuery as an ETL tool, or do you use something else on top of that?
I can talk about that as well. So there's actually some ETL functionality, right? So you could actually do use SQL to create an output that you can actually save as a new table. So that is pretty easy to do. If you need to do more complex things because you want to take data from a BigQuery and then bring in other data from other data sources, maybe internal data sources, stuff that is not in BigQuery, you can use Hadoop or other technologies to deal with that.
Thank you, Alex. Another question from our attendees. Could you explain the way you connect with Twitter data?
Well, Twitter is pretty current info. So I think the data that we have for this demo is actually coming from a company called DataSift. So they actually have all the different pipes to the different social data. So if you have data on Tumblr or Facebook, which I think they offer fairly new, then you can use them for accessing that data. But that is just one example. You can build your own. You can use the Twitter API to do extraction yourself. and there might be other vendors out there as well that offer this. We are just more familiar with the capabilities that DataSift offers. But there's others out there. Okay.
Wouter, how do you, if somebody is interested in downloading Tableau and getting going, are there any good resources locally in Belgium that might help somebody new to Tableau get started?
Well, yes, indeed. Datatonic was so kind as to start a Belgian Tableau user group. It's fairly new. We try to meet up once quarterly, and the next one, the fourth one, will be at our company's premises, and that will be 30th of June in the evening. So if anyone's in the neighborhood, they're free to join in.
Fantastic. That sounds really exciting. Any other questions for our panelists today? I think that's all questions for the day. Thank you all so much for your time today. Thank you for everybody for attending. We will definitely send you a recording of this webinar afterwards so that you can watch it again or share it with your colleagues. And obviously, if you have any questions, we'll include contact details for our panelists for you to get in touch with. Thank you very much.